Hi everyone, I'm Rachel, and in this tutorial, I'll show you how to color a realistic marble using the Color Therapy app. For a glass marble, look for any perfect circle in the app to use as a guide. This may look advanced, but it is actually quite easily attainable with the steps I'll show you. Okay, so before you get started, it's always good to find a reference. So this is actually an awesome image I found by @jhool in the Color Therapy app. You can also find some images from the internet to use as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is just choose the background color. So I'm going to use sort of a light, pale, bluish gray. Then I'm going to tap to fill in the marble itself with sort of a light gray. Now the next step is to add in some colors into the middle of the marble, but you can use any colors you want. Now open the manual mode, select the marker tool. Let's have the opacity at 100 and the size at about 12%. And then with coloring inside the lines mode set to on, I'm just going to start to use one of the colors and just drag my finger across the middle of the marble. And then I'll use a bright blue and just put that straight through the middle right next to it and just put a little bit of a curve in it as well. And then I'll also add a little bit of red just in this corner here, just a tiny bit. And I might just make it a little bit thicker with the yellow on that side by the red too and the blue. Select AIRBRUSH now and then lower the opacity to about 10% and the size at about 1%. Then I'm going to use orange. It's just a little bit darker of the yellow. I'm just going to start to drag in just a few lines and that's just going to look like a little bit more texture. Now let's add in some shadows and reflections to the marble. So in the color palette under dark shades, just select a dark bluish gray color and then also a lighter bluish gray color. And then with those same settings, just use that darker bluish gray and just start to add in some shadows along the length of the curve of the edge of the marble there. We'll do that on both sides, just around where the gray area is. And then now let's go ahead and raise the opacity to 60 and the size to 15. And we're just gonna add some more shadow just along the edge. We'll also go ahead and do that right below the right side of the marble. Now just lower the opacity down to about 3% and then just add a little bit of a shadow just across the colors here and bring it down to the right side of the marble. With the marker tool, have the opacity at about 8% and the size at 55% and just go ahead and add a little bit of texture inside that blue area. And then with the airbrush tool again, let's have opacity at 100 and size at 10 to 13% and we'll just add a bright highlight just right in the middle of the marble and then just continue adding areas of reflection. So you want some long thin ones, some larger ones, and then you also want to add the reflection into the shadow as well. Then try using the smear tool, just drag it across on the edges and it'll make it look more 3D. And then finally, just with the white and using the pencil tool, I'm going to add little bits of texture. I'm just adding little tiny indentations. Remember, you can try this with any colors or even draw your own spheres using the blank drawing paper. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Color Therapy YouTube channel so you don't miss any new tutorial videos. Thanks for watching our tutorial. You can get the Color Therapy app for free on the App Store.